What's up, guys? So, can you wholesale real estate without a team? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. My name is Graylan Stewart, and I'm a virtual wholesaler and entrepreneur, and just ultimately a real estate investor. So today's video, I'm just going to talk about wholesaling real estate. Can you actually do this without a team? So the short answer is yes, but it's more difficult for sure. So when I first started out about 3 years ago, obviously I didn't have a team in place. I just discovered wholesaling real estate in September of 2018. So, almost 3 years now. And whenever I found it, I just took action immediately. I saw that it was possible just from the videos that I watched on YouTube, just like you're doing now. And I just took action. I just started doing things. But yeah, it was tough. I was basically doing the marketing, obviously running a business. Now I started a new business, basically. So I was a business owner running the business, doing the marketing, trying to figure out what that even looked like when I first started out. Obviously doing acquisitions, taking the phone calls from the marketing that came in, or making cold calls or whatever it might be. Obviously doing the transaction coordinating, trying to figure out title companies, how they even work, what to even do, how the process goes, being the disposition manager, and doing all those things simultaneously. Because obviously when you have a deal under contract, now you're trying to sell the deal to cash buyers, but at the same time you still have calls coming in, so you can't not take phone calls, because that's potential leads, potential deals. So starting out, it's tough when you're doing everything all at once. It could be difficult, but it is possible. I just had to work longer hours. I just did what I had to do to make it work, and that's what you got to do as well. So yes, it is possible to do it without a team, but once you figure out the process, figure out how to do every single step, because that's the thing, you need to be able to master every step along the way so you can actually train that, so someone else can take that over for you. Because if you don't know how to do it yourself, how can you expect somebody else to do it? So you have to be a pro at certain, at each aspect of the business. You got to obviously be able to run the business well, but you got to be good at marketing. You got to be good at doing the acquisitions. If you're doing cold calling, you got to be a good cold caller. You got to be good at doing the transaction coordinating, talking to the sellers and the buyers and the title company or the attorney, whatever state you might be in. And then you got to be good at talking to buyers about selling the deal and just completing the whole transaction. So once you master each position, you can start hiring out for those positions. But until then, you definitely need to do it all yourself. You got to embrace, the whole process. It takes time to build a team, and you don't want to rush into it, because I definitely tried to do that at first too. I started out, like I said, in September of 18, and I was getting success right away. I closed 7 deals in October. So my very first month, I actually got paid on 7 different deals, made 72 grand. So I was trying to scale fast, because I was like, wow, I already figured this out. Because a couple months after that, I kept doing the same thing, 50 to 70 grand the first several months. But it was too soon. I hired cold callers right away, which I had never really cold called myself. I did a little bit with my marketing background, but not really, not to like a scale to where you do it all day, every day. Sure, I cold called different business owners and stuff like that, several times a day. But as far as getting on a dialer and just doing that all day, every day, I had never done that. So I hired cold callers to do that and expected them to know what to do. And that's just not reality. That's not realistic. When you hire somebody, you have to be able to train them to tell them how to do something. You can't just count on them knowing and reading your mind and assuming that they know what to do. So that was my mistake. I tried to hire those people. Didn't work out, obviously. got no deals from that at first because I didn't know what I was doing, and they didn't know what they were doing, and it wasn't necessarily their fault because I set them up to fail, basically. Anyway, so once I mastered certain positions, I started hiring out. Now that definitely took time. I basically spent all of 2019 just trying to find myself again, really, because I did it for 5 months straight. Had my first six-figure month in February of 19. Then I quit the business because I was trying to scale it a different way, and that didn't really work out for me. So I spent the whole end of 2019 kind of rebuilding that business and then building those processes, getting the systems in place to where when I did start back up, I was going to do it right. Actually build a business around wholesaling and not just be a wholesaler myself. So a team is super important. Once I did that, I hired an acquisition manager. That went great. Once I had her in place, I hired a transaction coordinator, which took a ton off of my plate because every time you hire something, that's one less thing you have to do. Once the transaction coordinator was in place, that was going really great. I hired a disposition manager. The first hire I did was kind of just not a good fit. Then I hired a second one, which she's definitely way better. But as far as having a team, man, I'm feeling it now because, we had, obviously this is summer of 2021. We had, all the team members, obviously everybody goes on vacation during the summer. So my transaction coordinator went out on vacation, and it happened to be the same month or the same kind of time period that I was going out, which was okay because that's one position that you can do by email and remotely. Super easy, it's not as tasking. But my acquisition manager, so I had two. I've always had two. I like to have at least two acquisition managers because we have a lot of leads coming in. We typically have 60 to 70 leads come in every week. So we need two people to handle that so they can handle their current leads plus all the new leads coming in. So anyways, I lost an acquisition manager a couple months back, and I have not replaced them yet, which I need to very quickly. It needs to become a priority, which I should have already done it. So that's kind of my fault. I've been kind of grooming this other person to potentially come on board, and I just can't wait anymore. I need to actually put an ad out there to hire. But anyways, that's beside the point. So my other acquisition manager had a vacation scheduled as well, and it was good timing, I thought, because I was gone for a week, and then I was scheduled for her to be gone like the day after I leave, right? So which was fine. So I could just cover for her, and it's cool. I haven't done acquisitions in a while, a couple years, but I was like, that's cool. I get back into the groove of things and take some seller lead calls, trying to make some deals, that kind of thing, which is awesome because I do love doing that. I love doing the acquisitions part. I just don't have time to do everything, so that's why I try to have a team. But anyways, so I did acquisitions myself. It was a great week. Of course, the day after vacation, it was trying hard to get into groove, and I've still got my other responsibilities in the company to do besides acquisitions. So it was a little bit of a struggle trying to do the acquisition job plus what I typically do, the marketing and the running the business. But I made it work. But then I had a couple of days scheduled to where I was taking my son out of town. So that was hard during that time. So really we had no acquisition manager for a couple of days. So at night I kind of followed up with some people, which is not the way to do it, guys. If you're just take my word for it. If you're doing acquisitions, you're spending money on marketing, you got to answer these calls live. That's when you have the best shot, especially if you're doing like pay-per-click or Facebook, radio ads, stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff you got to really answer live to really have a good shot, because a lot of times those people are calling others. You're not the only wholesaler in town. Trust me. There's tons and tons of competition everywhere you go in the nation. So the point is, try to get those leads live if you can. If you can't, contact them as soon as you can. So that's my struggle this past few days is my acquisition manager, my one and only acquisition manager at the time, is still out of town for the rest of this week even. So I'm covering for her. But not only that, I followed up with some of those leads the other night, but then there was just that on Friday I just couldn't do it. We had activities planned the whole day, and man, we had a lot of leads that day that came in. So just that day and over the weekend, I think there's like 18 to 20 leads that I've got to follow up with now, and hope that I didn't ruin my chances at this point, because there's probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 of those are probably pay-per-click, which those are the hottest leads if you can get them fast. And now it's been 1 to 3 days since those leads came in, which is not good. So anyway, as soon as I'm done with this video, obviously that's what I'm doing today. That's my first priority. But hiring an acquisition manager is pretty high up there too. Nevertheless, can you wholesale without a team? Absolutely. Is it more difficult? Absolutely. Is it necessary? Absolutely. You got to be able to do everything first before you hire. But once you get the process and the systems and everything in place, I definitely suggest hiring a team. Make it a business to where you can kind of oversee everything and make things run smoothly. Then you got everybody doing their own thing in their own particular position. And then you can actually scale it from there. But without a team, it's impossible to truly do big numbers by yourself, because you're typically going to work yourself to death. So that's my 2 cents on that. So yes, you can wholesale without a team. Absolutely, you have to do it at first, but definitely once you figure it out, and it's a process. Don't rush into it. But once you figure it out, definitely hire that team, get things in place to where you can actually grow that machine and grow your income at the same time. So anyways, hopefully that was all beneficial for you. Please give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and subscribe. I'd love to have you a subscriber. Drop me some comments if you got any questions, concerns, thoughts, anything at all. I'd be glad to respond to you. But in the meantime, thanks a lot. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.